Welcome back to Koi Collects. The 90s into the early aughts were a time when vibey anime and video games based on said anime flourished. But if you're anything like me, a ton of them passed you by. Especially if you were a kid when they released on a region-locked console and never saw the light of day outside their home country. But fortunately, nostalgia goggles have absolutely possessed me to mine the shit out of all the titles I may have missed out on. And GetBackers Dakkanya just happens to be one of them. Stick with me. Beginning as a manga in 1999 before receiving the anime treatment in 2002, GetBackers Dakkanya, or GetBackers Recovery Service, follows the lives of these two lads, Ginji Amano and Ban Mido, as they traipse across the city of Tokyo together, usually Shinjuku, and utilize their supernatural powers to get other people's stolen goods back. See what I did there? Their ventures in the metropolis take them through hidden subterranean cities, parallel universes, and ultimately challenge the nature of reality itself. The mix of drama and comedy presented by the series was well received both in its home country of Japan and abroad, leading to acclaim, adulation, and of course, adaptations. And with that out of the way, here we are. Let's go ahead and get this cracked open. We'll pull out the knife for this one. Another thin layer of plastic to get through. Holy shit, there's a third layer of plastic. Wait a minute, I think this is factory sealed. There's actual PlayStation shrink wrap, it's here written in gray. You don't see that every day on the channel. Well, still gotta crack it open. There's a little pull tab here. You should just be able to go along the front. Just go ahead and pull that right off. Finally, there is a noticeable crack here, although this is in amazing condition for a 24, 25-year-old game, I gotta say. The spine card is nice and crisp and lays flat against the game case. Flip over to the side, we got the game title here. Flip over to the back, and you've got some beautiful imagery featuring our two main characters. And yeah, let's get this cracked open. Let's remove this for safekeeping. Here we go. We've got some beautiful disc art here of the GetBackers duo with red silhouettes set against the silver disc. So let's go ahead and examine that a little bit. So that looks super cool. It's got a beautiful shine to it. And then behind it, beautiful case art here, I must say. I really miss when case design was part of the overall package. We have our GetBackers duo and this girl that I don't recognize. And then we've got some writing here that says, "We are GetBackers." Let's go ahead and get the instruction booklet out, and here we are. Let's flip that open really quickly. Let's remove the telephone card. We get this extended image here with the number of supporting cast members. Prologue, characters, basic controls and functions. Aren't these two just the cutest? Advices. And yeah, I think we're ready to go. Let's give this a whirl. The game opens with a high-energy electronic pop number and showcases our star duo, Ban and Ginji, set against grainy, heavily stylized imagery of Tokyo. We're introduced to a few supporting characters in a manner not unlike the first opening of the anime, with animation contrasted against the frenetic cityscape. Before we're taken to our title screen, with oddly foreboding music. Anyway, there are two game modes to choose from, so we'll start with recapture mode, which I guess just means story mode. We can also choose who we want to play as, so I went with Ban. What can I say? I prefer brunettes to blondes. We get an interesting scenario where this professor, Yuri, notices a fire on her campus and realizes a special DNA sample has gone missing, and one of her colleagues along with it. She suspects industrial espionage. And enter the GetBackers. We wind up in Shinjuku early morning the same day as the fire, with the boys deliberating over how to best track down a stolen scroll, set to some very familiar sounding music. After a bit of dialogue, we learn that we're looking for a bald guy with infrared goggles, maniacally laughing to himself. Should be easy enough to find, right? We have until 11 o'clock to find the scroll, and with that, we set off on our search. At each location, you have the option of either searching the physical area, asking questions, or moving to another location. Presented with the overworld map, we've got 3 locations to scour: Shinjuku Station, the Ward Office, and Golden Guy. Let's start off at Golden Guy, since I feel like the crowd there is usually a little, as you visit the various locales, in-game time passes. From here, Ban and Ginji engage in some pretty questionable investigative work, including chatting it up with their friends for more information, quarreling with their rivals, hassling poor salarymen, and rizzing up cute girls. There's a ton of dialogue, like a lot, and a ton of backtracking between the same 3 locations. Gotta love those old games, right? But eventually, the girlie in the sweater vest tips us off that our bald, goggle-wearing perp might just be in Golden Guy after all. And lo and behold, after a little good cop, bad cop, the boys decide this weirdo can't be reasoned with, and we dive into battle to get back the stolen scroll. The battle system is sort of like rock, paper, scissors meets the meter system from the Budokai franchise, where triangle beats square, beats circle, beats triangle, and the meter determines the damage multiplier. After some cool, flashy moves on my end, and whatever the fuck this is, seriously, we managed to pull off the win. After which Ban uses his Sharingan, Evil Eye, to trap Baldy in a Genjutsu and finesse him into handing over the stolen goods. Thus, we get back the scroll. So, what did I like? Despite having only 3 areas to investigate initially, the game kept things fresh with a plethora of dialogue during interactions, a variety of side character introductions, and varying character illustrations that injected life into the conversational back and forth. The plot for the original story of the game pulled me in pretty quickly, and what I didn't get to showcase is that the game has alternative paths depending on the character you choose, who you talk to, and the time that you accomplish things, which adds a real sense of consequence to each and every interaction. Amid all the talking, if you aren't a diehard fan of the franchise or even just a bit curious about Ban and Ginji's antics, there may not be much here for you. If I didn't have to use a translator, I probably would have speed read and button mashed through a lot of it. I think it took me about 50 minutes before I saw anything beyond talking. So overall, I think I'm gonna give this 6 Ban Mitos out of 10. If you enjoyed this, consider subscribing or watching a little more.